Hey guys, this is Louden Styles, and this is a panel discussion. Hooray!
Yay!
So, today in this panel, I am being joined by Bgal,
Hello!
Phoenix Angel Gal.
Hello, my loyal fledglings.
Yes, she's actually here. I know. Shocking, right?
Dun dun dun!
Sarah the Cat.
Hello.
Honest Reviews.
Hello everyone, I am your literal god of the commentary community.
Messiah Complex. And lastly, L Entertainment.
AKA the Welsh Russell, AKA the guy who runs your bed. And remember, if you see me, just let me have my way.
Wait, what?
It's with her. I usually say I'm
Oh,
under
thank
your
God he's
bed.
not behind me.
Okay.
Oh, really now?
Jesus. Alright, so I bet you're all wondering, hey guys, what's this panel discussion about there, LOLXD? Well,
Windows on the title.
yes, exactly. This panel discussion is about IGN, and before you all have a collective groan, no.
Right, just shut up.
Dislikes, mad comment, ooh.
Right, quit.
Bitch, mo.
Exactly, something like that. Remember, this isn't a video bitching about how IGN is well biased and how they're horrible and all this other crap.
Insert GameStop preference here.
Exactly. So let's get started with this panel discussion. The first topic for this panel is opinions.
This is pretty much every single rant in a nutshell. How dare you disagree with me? You must believe my opinions. Why you no agree with me? You're biased.
Here's the thing about a review. Every review that you watch, everyone, from Nostalgia Critic to AVGN to IGN to everyone, there's always going to be a tiny bit of bias in them because every review is subjective. And as much as some people like Yezo Otaku try to make them objective, they know that there's no such thing as objective review. You're going to have to put some of your opinions in there because you're trying to talk about it.
Exactly. Sarah?
I always thought that reviews were all was based around opinions. I never really took them as serious as most fans do, and I really don't know why.
All right. Honest?
Well, basically just what everyone else says. IGN, yes, they are biased at some points, but in the end, they still give out most of their opinions through the guy who does the video review and whoever does the written review. It's all about their experience with the game and their preference to everything. I mean, sure, have you seen all the other game review channels or websites? Each one of them haven't had the same score with IGN at times. Besides, I don't rely on IGN to choose my games for me. If I think the game is going to be great, I would choose it myself, and I would see other people, what they think, not just one group. So why everyone bitches about this one group, I will never understand.
Raise a good point there. L?
Well, I think everyone said it. It's the fact that it's an opinion, and IGN are basically paid to make their opinion, and it's basic. And this is the thing: is how people will go against it. I mean, for example, a lot of people will say that Call of Duty Black Ops is probably one of the best shooters of all time, but I say, well, it's shit, and that's an opinion. Yes, it goes against what a lot of people say, but it's still an opinion. I don't understand why, and if you can't take what they said, then, well,
Why the fuck are you keep watching them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why do you watch it?
Because pain is fun.
Here's the thing, what I think. I find it funny how everybody that does a commentary on IGN review or talks about IGN in general, they're the same people that says, well, it's my opinion just like it's your opinion, but yet, IGN can't get that same limit that other people get, like, oh, it's IGN, it's evil, so they don't have an opinion, we have an opinion, and that's how they go with it. That's how they come into an IGN review. I have the opinion, they don't have the opinion, they're the evil, and that's bullshit, to be honest with you, and it's stupid.
And they complain about, oh, IGN is biased and everything like that. And most of these people are the Sonic people that will basically like most of the Sonic games that come out.
I mean,
so that's kind of hypocritical.
I just want to talk about this whole thing about bias. One thing I should say is, aren't we all a little bit biased over something?
I know I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am a little bit.
Oh yeah, I want to say, before we end this part of the discussion, can I say something that would blow their minds?
Okay.
They say that IGN is biased. Well, all these same commentators who commentate on IGN are biased against IGN, so...
Exactly.
Dun, dun, dun! What a twist!
I mean, I'm biased against over comedy films that a lot of people dislike. I mean, there's like my favorite film didn't get that big in the box office, but I freaking love it. And I give it a good review. I'll probably say it's a 10 out of 10 or something like that. But then again,
my personal favorite My Little Pony fan fiction is cupcakes.
I believe we agreed not to mention My Little Pony in this video.
Delete. But yeah, it's like you're saying, oh, IGN is biased, but you already have this sort of opinion on IGN that they're evil and whatnot, and you're not, without even really giving them the chance to let them express themselves.
Case in point, look in the mirror. Now let's get on to the next topic. We're going to end that topic right there that we just did, and we're going to get to the next topic of this discussion. Every time IGN makes jokes in their reviews.
Oh God, this is the one I wanted to bring up, especially, I saw, Honest Reviews, commentary on the guy who was commentating on IGN's review of Sonic Generations. Good job, Honest, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, most of his points was him bitching at whenever IGN made a joke. And the thing is, like, I would like a review when there's a couple jokes in there, because it makes the review funny. It makes it interesting. It's not like just saying, this movie, it has this that makes it go for it. There's these flaws in it, and here's the final verdict. I don't like that compared to, like, say, like, Nostalgia Critic or any other reviewer that just throws a couple jokes in there to kind of just make it funny. But the problem is, these people will take a joke seriously. They'll think anytime they're making a joke, that anytime they're making fun of Sonic, that it's supposedly them marking down Sonic for that it's supposedly a flaw, when all they're just doing is just making a joke.
Right. Belle?
Well, I mean, how dare someone have a sense of humor? I mean, sure, you don't have to find a joke funny, but just because you didn't find a joke funny doesn't make it any more or less of a joke. It's still a joke regardless.
True. That's very good. Sarah?
Well, I watched the rant, and I never really found the jokes funny, but I didn't really make a big deal out of it either. I think we've all got a sense of humor here.
Right. Honest?
Well, it's sort of ridiculous. I mean, one good example would be that guy that M-Skull did a commentary on, who commentated on IGN, who had this very sour demeanor throughout his entire video. And I don't know, I don't understand this whole thing that IGN's suddenly not allowed to make jokes. I mean, what about the people on that guy with the glasses and James Rolfe? They make jokes in all their reviews. No one seems to get upset with them.
What about Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb?
Well, yeah, I think people do get upset with them at times. I mean, there was one person who treated one of their reviews that was on a Sonic game, no less, so seriously, and treated them like IGN.
I mean, I would think that it's like if your review is going to be nothing but jokes, then I don't really see the point in making the review at all when you're not really bringing up any points to it. But if you're just throwing the occasional jokes here and there just to kind of just spice it up, that's good. That's a good thing. But it's like these people, whenever they make a joke, it's not, then they get mad. Instead of them supposedly taking on the points that they're complaining about or that they're complimenting about, which I would think what they apparently wanted to do in the first place.
You just completely took over TK's spot, but
I'm sorry.
L?
Well, let me just address this. It's that the fact is, IGN will put jokes in their videos to make it entertaining, because if it was just sort of analyzing and sort of going into sort of detail and all this, who's going to watch that? You don't want to watch something that feels like a lecture, because it's the internet. It's supposed to be entertaining. The thing that these people don't understand is what the difference between a joke and being serious. For example, if I said that Louden has a vagina, I didn't mean it. It's a joke.
Right.
But if you take it seriously, then you're an idiot. If you literally think that I meant that, then you're a fucking moron.
Yeah, and let me just add some more to this topic about, just every time IGN makes a joke about something. It's crazy because there's like more points besides a Sonic review. I'll take one point. Oliver 88 talking about Duke Nukem doing his commentary on Duke Nukem Forever's review. Every joke that they made in that review, he was like, was that funny? Because I didn't find it funny. And, it's like, why can't this one gaming company make jokes in a review without them getting criticized and bastardized because they made a joke? And also, I just want to bring up, I've heard this all the time. Like, don't you have anything better to do, IGN, than to nitpick on everything? And it's like, aren't you doing the same freaking thing in this video? You freaking hypocrite. You're doing the same damn thing that you're accusing them of. And God forbid you can't take a joke from IGN, but guess what? You can take a joke from that guy with the glasses or blistered thumbs or any other freaking site that does game or movie reviews, but you can't take a joke from IGN. You are all fucking idiots. I want you to realize this. You're an embarrassment to nature and human existence. And quite honestly, you're basically the shit that flies out of the sewers and goes into the rat's mouth.
Exactly. If you watch an IGN review and you think, your jokes weren't that funny, you just nitpick. But then you go on to like the Angry Video Game Nerd or that guy with the glasses and you laugh your ass off, then you're a hypocrite and a waste of oxygen.
Honestly, because I don't know about you, but AVGN's humor is toilet humor.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's basically middle school humor with shit.
Pretty much. I mean, come on, you can easily tell. For example, when in his old one of his old reviews when he shits on Bugs Bunny, and then this carries on to like a few years later when Bugs Bunny shits on him.
I mean,
it's just the same damn joke, but the rules have been changed.
Right. So, it's funny that every time we bring up IGN, I'm in this topic now, but it's funny that how we bring up, well, every time we bring up IGN, we bring up this one certain rant. Because that is the next topic. The Sonic Generations rant made by Lucario Trainer. Man, this is the third time today this has been brought up.
Joy of joys!
So, let's get started with Bgal.
I haven't watched the Sonic Generations rant. Can someone give me a bit of what's going on?
Okay. Honest?
Well, I immediately thought it was retarded when I saw that. Especially when I saw the review beforehand and saw they gave it an 8.5. That's nearly a 9. They gave it almost a damn near great, perfect score.
They gave it a B+.
Right.
Yes, essentially, but still, they have to bitch about it. And why? Because they made some jokes at Sonic's expense, and they had a few complaints with the game, and some of them actually made sense, but Lucario Trainer didn't understand them.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and one thing...
That's stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and one thing that just clarified it that he does not respect their opinions, even though he says that he does in the description of his video, was at the end when
Bullshit.
he said, when he basically said they better not give the DS version a higher score because I heard that's shit from what I've heard, even though that game is not going to be out for another month.
Keep it classy, Lucario Trainer.
Keeping it classy.
Yeah, and by the time that his commentary came out, the game wasn't even out yet, and coincidentally, my commentary came out by the time the game even came out. And I said this before, IGN had a good excuse to talk about some of the gameplay and controls because they've got the full game before anyone else.
Indeed.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's their job to kind of just review the games and whatnot and talk about the video games. So of course gaming companies are probably going to give the video games to IGN and these other companies first before the main market.
Right. Sarah?
I haven't saw the rant, so I can't say anything really.
Alright. L?
Oh wait, I'm sorry, I wasn't really talking about my point.
Well, okay. Kristen?
I'll talk about it later.
Okay. L?
Well, first thing I want to say is that the fact is that IGN are paid to look up problems with the game and criticize them, and like there's points where he says that the controls are somewhat
Clumsy.
Clumsy, yes, and then we see a segment where the Sonic runs into a wall, and the guy bitches about it, saying, "Oh, you did it on purpose." Did it ever come to the mind that the reviewer didn't actually play that, and it was someone else that played that to put into the actual video?
Yes, like we said before, the reviewer plays the game, but they get a separate team to get gameplay footage.
Which
Makes it faster.
And I just want one thing. A thing I want to say is that I want to focus on the score. An 8.5 and great, which meant the game is considered a great game. And yet still, you decide to bitch and moan about it.
Where? It's not a 10. Bitch, moon, where?
I wet my bed in diaper change.
I can't, my brain does not compute with your logic. It does not understand what your logic is. Why Are you upset? Why do you not accept the fact that the game is considered great and 8.5? What is wrong? Do you want them to say that the game is perfect? And it turns out when you get the game, it isn't perfect. And then you're going to say that they lied.
Cause that totally would happen. I mean, let's be honest. When it comes to that certain fan base, they will bitch about anything. It's been put out there that they're ungrateful. And just the idea, I saw that rant, which was a commentary. I saw that rant, and I just scratched my head going, what made you think half the crap that you said? Where in your brain did it tell you that what you said was perfect? And you know what? The rant itself kind of just got me a little ticked off and made me annoyed, but no, the comments under there pissed me off because
they all agreed.
Yeah.
A lot of them agreed. It's like, I remember one saying, I completely agree with this whole thing. Really? Then you're as dumb as him.
Exactly. Anybody that...
Or a sock puppet account, or a troll, or who's just pretending to white knight him, or, I don't know.
Well, there were some that actually were truly honest to agree with him, because the video got more, I think it got more likes than dislikes last time I checked.
Well, of course, because...
It got a lot more likes because it's true.
It got a lot more likes because it was about IGN, and IGN's the devil if you haven't realized. So,
22 likes, 18 dislikes.
Yeah, can I say something before we end this segment?
No, let Phoenix talk, and then you'll say something. Phoenix...
Okay.
Here was the thing when I saw his review. It was like, it was basically he barely talked much about it, and whenever he did, he was bitching about the jokes. He was bitching about the jokes, and he was bitching about the whole thing about, if you keep hearing that song over and over again, you're probably gonna hang yourself, and it's like, and he's complaining about that. It's like annoying. Yes, there are such things as songs that get annoying when you hear them over and over again. I've experienced that with Birth by Sleep, but here's the other thing. He supposedly wanted to complain about the flaws, and when we got to the final verdict, they said the two flaws that IGN had was the clunky controls, which we already talked about, and the fact that there weren't a lot of bosses. And he didn't even complain one single bit about the bosses at all, did he?
Nope.
No.
He didn't say a damn thing about the bosses, but he bitched about glitchy controls and saying that that they did that on purpose. Which now I think about, like, where did you come up with the idea thinking that, they're doing this on purpose?
Why would they do it on purpose? To piss the people they want to sell this to off?
Oh, you know what? That's why I could never be a game reviewer, because I would totally do shit on purpose just to troll a certain fan base of mindless sheep. So.
But yeah, it's like...
IGN are massive trolls, XD. Sorry.
But yeah, it's like, all you did was bitch and moan about stupid shit. That's it. You didn't talk about the big stuff. You just nitpicked, and yeah, your little commentary rant. No. I can't even call this like a rant or a commentary. All I can call it is bitching. That's how we're gonna call it from now on. This is nothing but bitching about stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
All right. Well, Honest, finish up for us on this topic.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know that the game got an 8.5 from IGN, and that's the highest score given to the game from every other review. Everyone else rated it lower, one rating it a 4 out of 10.
Oh yeah, Game Score rated a 4. The other... Okay, here's it. IGN gave it an 8.5. The other game reviewers like Game Informer rated it a 7 to a 6. Game Score rated it a 4.
Wow.
So,
And no one's
so let that explain to you. IGN is totally the devil when it gave a Sonic game a high score while the others gave it a low.
It gave it a B. That is fucking awesome.
It basically gave it a B plus, which is exactly what Louden gave me. So,
Yeah, and wasn't it recommended by IGN to go play the game?
Yep, editor's choice.
but who cares about that? I mean,
Yeah, who gives a fuck about editor's choice? They still made joke about your game. There.
IGN are the devil and they suck Satan's dick.
Even though they gave Sonic Generations a good score.
Exactly.
And editor's choice.
Yeah, and editor's choice. Yeah,
And higher than anyone else.
they gave that fucking game a chance while the others basically gave it 7 to 6 to 4.
They basically thrashed the game, and IGN gave it a very nice score, and yet you're still bitching over to IGN. Freaking genius!
Big geniuses. All right, we're done with that. I think we just basically shitted on everybody for now. The next topic we want to bring up. I think L, you brought this up. Professionalism, was that it?
Yeah.
Okay, professionalism. Well, since this is your topic, L, why don't you start off?
Okay. Let me just basically set this. A plumber is one of the things that a plumber is paid to do is to find problems with plumbing. One of the things that a basically computer or mechanic is paid to do is to find problems with cars. A paid reviewer is paid to find errors and problems. That's one of the things they do. Find problems with whatever they're reviewing. IGN are basically criticizing problems with the games, yet they're also giving it the pat on the back for the good part. Now, let me say this. IGN gave it an 8.5. They never gave Sonic Generations an 8.5. They didn't give it a 10 because there were problems, right? And you don't get
You don't get a 10 if you've got too many problems.
If you have too many problems. If they did, and you got the game, and you found problems, you're gonna say that IGN are liars. And they're getting paid to lie to you. Would you like that? Would you like them to get paid for lying at you? Because I wouldn't. Oh no, I wouldn't. And I know I'm making you sound like a baby, but that's what you should be treated like. So really, yeah. And also, let me just say this, and my voice gets that little more higher. They are basically professionals. Because they basically studied in games. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bgal, can you want to put something after that?
Reviewing is trying to point out the pros and cons, which is the professional at their job. They're just doing their job as what they do. You're not going to agree it, then tough. Not everything is going to agree with your things, and that's the end of that's life.
True. Phoenix?
Well, I can definitely say that Elle is probably a female version of the fan fiction critic.
He's Rule 63.
with his magically high magical voice that can go higher pitches at every second. But yeah, IGN, their job is to just kind of just make a review, and if you're complaining about the jokes that they're not funny, because they don't like make any dirty jokes or whatnot, here's the thing. They're a paid company. That have to make reviews for probably multiple ages, not just 18-year-olds, but probably for kids and parents. So they're probably forced to go by certain standards where they can't make toilet humor or balls jokes or anything like that compared to someone like AVGN, or, as much of it y'all hate them, the irate gamer who can make mature humor because
it's on our rated website.
Because they're on R-rated websites, or just for a fan base that is older. So that's also a bit of professionalism, is when it's like you have to be mature about your gameplay and your content and all of that. So they're pretty professional. I don't know how professional they really are. I haven't seen every single one of their reviews, but from what I can tell, they try to make a couple good jokes. Now, depending on whether they're funny or not is your opinion. Humor is subjective. They point out the goods, they point out the bads, and they give it their score. And from what I can tell, it's pretty professional.
Right. All right. Sarah, you got anything you want to add to it?
No, not really. Just that they're professional enough for you to be watching it still, even though you made a rant on it, or it was a rant. They must be professional enough to keep you watching.
That was good. About the most productive thing you've said this entire panel, but
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you, darling.
I'm stupid.
No, you're not stupid. Serious Hedgehog Co-'s stupid. You're special. Okay, honest reviews. Got anything?
Well, I do think it's sort of annoying that even though IGN gives a high score to a game, most people like the focus on the negative, and which is completely retarded. I mean, like it's been said, that's their job. They need to point out what's good and what's bad, and if it got this score, they needed to explain why it got it. For instance, if it got like an 8 or a 9, they have to explain what kept it from being a 10. And they usually explain that. I mean, seriously, I wouldn't do the same thing. I mean, if you play the game and it started being bad a little bit at certain points, you wouldn't give it such a high recommendation. For instance, Battlefield 3, I love that game, but there's one thing that gets me from giving it a great, perfect score, in my opinion, and that's because some of the multiplayer maps are a little glitched up. One in particular that is so glitched up to the ass that it makes me want to pull my hair out every time I have to be in that map. So there doesn't seem to be a really huge problem for them doing their jobs. And again, taking their jokes seriously just proves how more moronic these people get, even though I guess I couldn't blame them. Like, if we're all probably too desensitized from angry video game nerd jokes to understand the jokes that IGN makes.
Alright, well, I have really nothing to bring up or put down, so I say we pretty much came to the end of this panel. I think we've come to the end. I think we've pretty much said what we wanted to say. So, final thoughts to everyone here. We're going to start off with Belle. Final thoughts.
People are hypocrites, insensitive to other people having different opinions than them.
Short, sweet, to the point. I love it. Phoenix?
I guess mine's going to be a little bit longer, but just
oh God.
for one thing. Don't worry, I'm not going to make like a 30-minute like speech that probably belongs to like Martin Luther King or that one guy who made an Academy Award winning movie that I can't really remember off the top of my head. Anyways,
That's not Youngblood's job.
anyways, just kind of tell and differentiate between an actual criticism, an actual critique, and a joke, for one thing. And the second thing is just know that not everyone is going to herald this as this game that you like is perfect, and the other game as like complete shit. They're probably gonna like it or not like it. And just really, if you're going to make a commentary, don't go after just the tiny stuff that doesn't really matter, like the so-called jokes. Kind of go after just the big things that I think you originally wanted to take on, like the actual critique. Seriously.
All right. That was good. Sarah, your final thoughts?
Well, all I have to say is really, if you don't like what others' opinions are, don't watch the videos. And yeah, it just makes you a hypocrite that you call out their things that you're doing. Stuff like that.
All right. Honest, your final thoughts?
I still stand by what I say. You idiots who keep complaining and making commentaries claiming how IGN is biased against certain games that you like, well, you're constantly biased against them. You're hypocrites. And you're the ones who keep going to their videos and earning them money.
By your hate.
Yep, through your hate, you're earning them money with your hate. I hope you feel good about that.
All right. Elle, your final thoughts?
Well, I basically think that everyone has basically said it. You're hypocrites. You give them money.
Your butt hurt.
You can't stand the fact that they actually give a really good score, but it's not to the standards that you want it to be. And the fact that you can't take jokes, and it's basically everything is said, and also the fact that I've probably gone completely insane.
Pretty much. I think my final thoughts are basically this. I am kind of tired of... It's not just Sonic games. I'm just tired of anybody that makes a commentary on IGN, and already I know that whatever game they're going to review, the person commentating on it is going to shit and, bitch and moan about every little thing that goes on in there. And it gets tiring because you're bitching at them for doing their job, and that's funny to me. It's even funnier how they basically contradict themselves every time they make a video and say, oh, well, this person nitpicks and he's making a lot of unfunny jokes, yet you do the same thing. So I guess my final thought, I'm going to end it with the following statement. Maybe you should look into a mirror before you start judging.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. And Youngblood's me has been used by ponies.
Alright, I guess that's it for us, guys. Yeah, this has been a pretty damn long panel discussion.
Yes.
But that's it for us. I am Louden Styles.
And Bgal. 234.
And that's Phoenix Ancient Girl, who's not speaking.
And I am Sarah the Cat 2T7.
And I'm the honest reviewer.
And I'm Entertainment. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to hide under Phoenix Angel's Gal's bed until she falls asleep. That was very creepy.
And I'm being surrounded by a bunch of dumbasses. I say good day. I said good day!